Our greatest danger is that, in the great leap from slavery to freedom, we may overlook the fact that the masses of us are to live by the production of our hands and fail to keep in mind that we shall prosper in proportion as we learn to dignify and glorify common labor and put brains and skill into the common occupations of life. Shall prosper in proportion as we learn to draw the line between the superficial and the substantial, the ornamental gewgaws of life and the useful. No race can prosper till it learns that there is as much dignity in tilling a field as in writing a poem.
Well, children, where there is so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. I think that twixt the Negroes of the South and the women of the North all talking about rights, the white men will be in the fix pretty soon.
As a colored woman, I may walk from the Capitol to the White House, ravenously hungry and abundantly supplied with money with which to purchase a meal, without finding a single restaurant in which I would be permitted to take a morsel of food if it was patronized by white people, unless I was willing to sit behind a screen. As a colored woman, I cannot visit the tomb of the father of this country, which owes its very existence to the love of freedom in the human heart, and which stands for equal opportunity to all, without being forced to sit in the Jim Crow section of an electric car which starts from the very heart of the city, midway between the Capitol and the White House. If I refuse thus to be humiliated, I am cast into jail and forced to pay a fine for violating the Virginia laws.
Since 1929, Negro workers, like white workers, have lost their jobs, have had mortgages foreclosed on their farms and homes, have used up their small savings. But in the case of the Negro worker, everything has been worse in larger or smaller degree. The loss has been greater and more permanent. Technological displacement, which began before the Depression, has been accelerated, while unemployment and falling wages struck black men sooner, went to lower levels, and will last longer.
Just as the lynch law regime came to a close in the West, a new mob movement started in the South. This was wholly political, its purpose being to suppress the colored vote by intimidation and murder. Thousands of assassins banded together under the name of Ku Klux Klans, midnight raiders, Knights of the Golden Circle, etc., spread a reign of terror by beating, shooting, and killing colored.
We first broke the law in a way which avoided any recourse to violence. When this form was legislated against, and then the government resorted to a show of force to crush opposition to its policies, only then did we decide to answer violence with violence. But the violence which we chose to adopt was not terrorism. We who formed Umkhonto were all members of the African National Congress and had behind us the ANC tradition of nonviolence and negotiation as a means of solving political disputes.
These children in these cases are guaranteed by the state some 12 years of education in varying degrees, and this idea, if I understand it, to leave it to the states until they work it out. And I think that is a most ingenious argument. You leave it to the states, they say, and then they say that the states haven't done anything about it in 100 years. So for that reason, this court doesn't touch it. The argument of judicial restraint has no application in this case. There is a relationship between federal and state, but there is no corollary or relationship as to the 14th Amendment. The duty of enforcing, the duty of following the 14th Amendment is placed upon the states. The duty of enforcing the 14th Amendment is placed upon this court.